morning, what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you. And we do wish you a good morning. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, where talk is real, truth is in the talk, and there is power in truth. And we say good morning to you. At least I say good morning to you. Melody she had a meeting this morning. That's what she told me. She had a meeting. So I said, don't worry, I'll cover it for you. So don't tell her what we're doing today. She may not like it. I don't know. Anyway, I thought I would bring you something fun as we started out. And I promised you yesterday we're going to do a little talking about Oprah. And I want to get to that probably in the next segment. This is, well, we may have time for this because this won't take too long. They say that the English language is easy for somebody to learn. But there are certain words that might confuse even the brightest of students whenever you're trying to teach them the English language and what words mean. A reminder that one word in the English language that can be a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, and a preposition. If you remember your English classes from high school or junior high or even college, the word I'm talking about is up. The two-letter word in the English has more meanings than any other two-letter word, and the word is, again, up. It is listed in the dictionary as an adjective, as a preposition, as an adverb, as a noun, and as a verb. It's easy to understand up, meaning toward the sky or at the top of the list. But when we awaken in the morning, why do we wake up? At a meeting, why does a topic come up? Why do we speak up? And why are the officers up for election? And why is it up to the secretary to write up a report? We call up our friends, brighten up a room, polish up the silver, warm up the leftovers, and clean up the kitchen. We lock up the house and fix up the old car. At other times, this little word has real special meaning. People stir up trouble, line up for tickets, work up an appetite, and think up excuses. To be dressed is one thing, but to be dressed up is special. And this up is confusing. A drain must be opened up because it is stopped up. Think about that. We open up a store in the morning, but we close it up at night. We seem to be pretty mixed up about the word up, don't we? To be knowledgeable about the proper uses of up, look up the word up in the dictionary. In a desk-sized dictionary, it takes up almost 1/4 of the page and can add up to about 30 definitions. If you are up to it, you might try to build up a list of the many ways up is used. It will take up a lot of your time, but if you don't give up, you may wind up with 100 or more. When it threatens to rain, we say it's clouding up. When the sun comes out, we say it's clearing up. When it rains, the earth soaks it up. When it does not rain for a long time, things dry up. One could go on, but I'll wrap it up for now. My time is up. Well, my time's not completely up. And one more thing, it says you do this at night and you do this in the morning. You wake up, you get up. Anyway, it is just kind of fun to look at the English language and to see just exactly how confusing it could possibly be. You know, I admire those who have the ability to speak several languages. I do not. Although I've been accused of speaking a foreign tongue, it's because I get tongue twisted or don't say things quite right. But I have a daughter-in-law whose father can speak 6 different languages, and they're teaching their daughter, my granddaughter, to learn at least 2. And, so it's kind of, something I think that would be good for us to learn another language, and I have not done that. I keep thinking I'm going to do that, but I'm getting older. I don't know if I can, especially if I have to learn English and learn what's up with that, huh? I talked a little bit yesterday that I wanted to bring to you. It was the big BuzzFeed yesterday. It was all about Oprah. And then things kind of went another direction during the news. So we have quite a bit to talk about today. But I did want to focus just for a little while on Oprah Winfrey and get your opinion on whether she should or would or could or whatever run for president. Well, anybody can. She's definitely got the money to do it. She's definitely got the fame. She's definitely got Hollywood in her pocket. But I remember some things about Oprah, and I thought we might discuss those today or another day. Just depends on how we go. She's not one of us. Now, that might sound like a bigoted thing to say, but she's not one of the forgotten people. She doesn't live a life like you do or like I do, and of course neither does Donald Trump, neither does the president. She's not one of us. Oprah, will she run for president, or will she just give speeches and suggest that she's going to run? Just going to scare everybody. Get a little of attention. She kind of likes that attention. Oprah is obviously a great businesswoman. There's no doubt about that. She is a rags to riches story. Very, very, very rich story. Yet I still say she's not one of us. I remember when her fame was just starting. She openly credited God and her faith for her success. But as her success grew, that acknowledgement faded away, and now it's all about becoming a better person. More of the humanism, self-made. Humanism, being a better person. It's not all bad, but you and I know we cannot be good by ourselves. Oh, we can do a few good things here and there. We can pat ourselves on the back once in a while, I guess. But without our God, without our Savior, we are nothing. Back to Oprah. She lives a life of the extreme wealthy. She looks at every opportunity. She can either add to her wealth or bring attention to herself, her goodness. I can see her campaign rallies. Can't you? I was telling Melody this yesterday. I can see her campaign rallies. Everyone attending will receive a free car. The auto industry ought to love that. They get a few cars away. Somebody has to buy them to give them away, right? But Oprah isn't without controversy. And I will remind you that. We'll talk about some of those. That all that glitters is not gold, and all that shines is not silver. She might have more grace in how she presents herself, how she speaks, than the president. And the left love her dearly. And they love to hate the president. But that doesn't make her, as they like to say, presidential. She isn't one of us. She might think she's the voice of the little people, the forgotten Americans, but she came from a poor background, but that doesn't necessarily make her one of us. She's forgotten about that, except when it's convenient, or she's completely put it aside because, she made herself better. She spoke a good speech, I suppose. I just saw snippets of it or heard snippets of it from the Golden Globes. But, that modest award ceremony where they roll out their own red carpet and they point to themselves to say, look at me, I'm beautiful, I'm important, I have all the answers. All of those, or at least the vast majority of them, have known for years and years about the sexual abuses and the uses of women and young men. Are we still in denial of Michael Jackson? Oh, by the way, he and Oprah were very close. Just because they give blooming speeches, just because they all wear the same color dress, different styles, of course, and lots of dollars that could have been spent on helping others, just because they draw attention to themselves doesn't mean they care a snip about the women and men who were used by their industry. They're wearing the black to cover up their own sin of silence. They didn't mention these people. They praised those in the past who have been accused of rape and molesting young people. Oh no, they didn't praise them for their deeds. They praised them for their art. Remember when they were on the bandwagon about more money to the arts? Well, maybe they should spend less money on their dresses and kick in a little money for their arts. Oprah is not one of us. She doesn't love this nation as many of you do. And neither do the Hollywood stars, because what they truly love are themselves. You want to see their true character? Upset their world a little bit. And they immediately scream and fall apart, turn to drugs, turn to other horrible things. It's sad. It really is sad to see what happens to them. They are just lost people. They might be rebels, but their cause is not noble. It is quite selfish. Very selfish. Oprah is not one of us. 717-300-1218 is the number to call. That's 717-300-1218. When I think of Oprah, I think about, and I don't have all the details in front of me. I have kind of just a little synopsis of it. But some of the scandals that she has been involved in. And one, if you'll remember, was with the beef industry. When Mad Cow was the main topic of the day. And CSC Talk Radio, it came from, I had to start my own talk show, but I had worked for Derry Brownfield, and Derry Brownfield was the founder of the Brownfield Network, which is a huge Midwest ag network. So when he had his talk show and I worked for him, we talked all about the beef industry, the pork industry, farming, Monsanto. We talked a lot about those things, what legislation would do to the farmer, what it would do to the land. And we experienced the wrath of Monsanto. That's a story for another day. But I remember when the story of Oprah and the cattlemen was going on in the lawsuit. And of course, with all her money, with all her glitter, with all her shine, she won the lawsuit. She had slandered and told untruths. It hurt the beef industry, but it didn't seem to matter because, you know what? When you're rich and you're famous, you can tell lies and slander, and it's called free speech. So the beef industry, this was back in 1996, and that's when the scare of the mad cow was. It was in that time frame in the mid-90s. Oprah invited Howard Lyman. He was a cattle rancher. He had turned vegetarian, and she had him on her show. Well, she claimed that this could all lead to an epidemic of bad meat across the land. She knew nothing about the beef industry, nothing about mad cow, nothing about the things that our farmers, our cattlemen go through to make sure our food is safe. There was a scare put out back then, but she won that lawsuit. That was just one controversy. You're listening to Power Talks. We're heading into a break. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. What do you think? 717-300-1218. Should Oprah run for president? 717-300-1218, and we'll be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Have you seen the Left Behind movies? Have you read the Left Behind fictional book series? Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. Because they see the world stage shaping to fulfill what they have been led to believe is sound biblical interpretation, a left behind rapture scenario, this false view of prophecy is reinforced in the mind, not only of its adherents, but also includes those who have been merely exposed to the specific media. Is it possible that false prophecy can be fulfilled? The rapture theories have always been in dispute. Pre-trib, mid-trib, and post-trib disputes have risen up in exclusively evangelical circles of recent history, so that when true believers don't suddenly disappear, this element will easily go by the wayside when all see a new Jewish temple begin to be built. Will this be part of the great delusion that will come upon the whole earth? It seems that this great prophetic delusion has already overcome practically the entire American evangelical and Christian world. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. To learn more, visit crosstheborder.org. That's CROSS, crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. I'm minus Melody today. She had a meeting to go to. That's the story I got. I guess I'm stuck with it. She says she has a meeting that she's not really sleeping in, that she has a meeting. Back to Oprah. And then we'll get off of Oprah. Because I really don't think Oprah's going to run. I don't think she'd have to sacrifice too much. Why would anybody do that? We always said that with President Donald Trump. Why would he do that? I don't believe that she will. I could be wrong. But a second thing that went on with her. When Oprah wants, what Oprah wants, Oprah gets, is what this is saying. And this is coming from Time, including bookings for the Fresh Hour du jour. So when Sarah Palin was tapped as John McCain's VP pick in 2008, if you remember, fans and staff suggested that Winfrey bring the political phenomenon on her show. But while Oprah had publicly endorsed Barack Obama, she said she didn't want to use her program as a political platform. So Republicans were enraged, arguing that it was a hypocritical decision for her to make. Obama had appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show back in 2006, as Oprah reps pointed out. That was before he announced his candidacy. Gossip columns and reputable news organizations alike claimed that the political bias was the reason the talk show host didn't want to have the first woman on a Republican presidential ticket on her show. Well, we know that Oprah has an agenda Oprah is very popular. Everyone knows Oprah Winfrey name. But they have their own agenda, you know, and I guess we all do. I have my own talk show. I get to have who I want on when I want them. But I would have opposing people on. They don't want to come on. They don't want to be on with me. We're going to go to the phone lines. We have Joe. Joe, how are you doing today?
Oh, getting by so far. And how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Looking forward to the next Siberian Express is supposed to come in tomorrow.
50 today, sleep tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got 3 points I'd like to make about Oprah.
All right.
Number one, I've thought of a bumper sticker that I think you could make quite a bit of money on if you'd print this up and sell it, and that's "Make America Poor Again, Vote for Oprah." Okay. Okay, that's number one. Number two, what I think is obvious about Oprah is that she must have accepted an invitation to join a secret society. See, I once heard Newt Gingrich in a radio interview, and he said that Trump was not a member of any of the secret societies, and that's why the whole establishment is against him. And
I agree.
Newt Gingrich, I think Newt Gingrich gave away the whole thing, you know, there with saying that, you know.
And I would throw in there, I would throw in there that I bet Newt Gingrich is a member.
I wouldn't be too surprised, but
okay.
But there's a network of secret societies promoting the New World Order, and they watch everybody very closely. They watch what's going on very closely, and when they see a person has talent, when they see a person, you know, has potential to be influential and so on like that, when they see a person is intelligent and capable, they'll invite them to join the secret society. And if they'll join the secret society, then they'll have a wonderful career. They will be promoted in the press and in the media and everything like this, and they'll make lots of money, and they'll be very prestigious and so on like that. And if a person will not join the secret, and you know, if they serve the purposes of the New World Order, and if they will not do that, then, you know, they will be generally ignored and forgotten. And no matter how much ability they have, no matter how smart they are, no matter how much good work they do, you know, they won't get any kind of good publicity in the big media. And they'll have a very hard time getting their ideas and, you know, out, and, you know, they'll have a very hard time having an impact on the world. And so I think Oprah must have obviously accepted the invitation and joined one of these secret societies. And number three, about the mad cow disease. Now, I read some years ago some research work by an English farmer who is very intelligent and very, very good mind for science. His name was Mark Purdy, and he did an intensive study of what was the real cause of mad cow disease. You know, the prion theory that they were promoting, you know, did not make sense to him. And so he did a lot of research on his own, and the conclusion that he came to was that the mad cow disease was caused by a form of manganese poisoning caused by a copper deficiency, and and that it was similar to a disease that's apparently pretty common amongst manganese miners, which is called manganese madness. And so I asked Dr. Joel Wallach, he's a very famous medical doctor and veterinarian, who is a real expert on what mineral deficiencies cause what health problems. I asked him about this one time, and Dr. Joel Wallach said that the mad cow disease is a simple copper deficiency. So, you know, it looks to me like some very good researchers have come up with this as the real cause of the mad cow disease. You know, and
I had
go ahead.
I had an advertiser on CSC Talk Radio for a while out of Canada. Murray Bass. I said his name backwards. And he did a lot of research on the ground, and some of the chemicals and some of the things that we use on the ground strip these nutrients out of the ground, and I'm sure the magnesium would be one of them that gets stripped out of there through some of the chemicals and things that we use on the ground. You know, we learn if we pay attention. We do learn. And mad cow disease was used to try to control the farmers. They wanted them to put a chip in every one of the cattle. They can't find illegal aliens across this nation, but they wanted to chip all the cattle. So we know where that all comes from, but yet they repealed cool so that you don't know where it comes from. Doesn't make any sense, does it, Joe? So.
Oh, well, it makes sense if they don't want the American people to prosper, that's for sure. But one of my disappointments is that this whole, truth and patriotism movement has not taken up. It looks to me like pretty much all of them still accept this crazy prion protein theory of the cause of mad cow disease. Apparently the idea is that suddenly this strange prion protein, which cannot be killed by any amount of heat, has come up to cause this mad cow disease. It's a screwy theory when you really think about it. But it seems like mostly the truth and patriotism movement has accepted that and not, really looked into the research done by other people about, mineral deficiencies and mineral poisonings.
Well, we just haven't heard anything about it. We haven't heard anything about it for years because it was a false fear anyway that they were throwing out there just to scare people. And Oprah got on that bandwagon, and then she got sued because she made some comments, and it did affect the markets. But she won the lawsuit. But she's not without her controversies, and she's not without her falls. What do they call it? She falls short in several places.
Well, I think probably it's still out there, but it was never anywhere near as big as they were hyping it up to be. And since it's not really transmissible the way they were saying it was, it had not become a big deal. And it's not politically useful to them at the moment. So I think it's still somewhat out there at a low level, like it's probably always been. But
it was not in the U.S.
It's not hyped up the way it was.
None of the U.S. cattle had it. None of them. And the one that they had brought in here came from Canada, I do believe. And anyway, it was big stories for a while, and of course they were using that for control, just like they use some crazy man going out and doing something for more gun control. It was used for control of the farmers. They were trying to pass the NAD, what do they call it, the National Animal Identification System, and it didn't work. But they're still trying to get that passed. They're just doing it different ways, calling it different names. Appreciate the call, Joe. Appreciate the input and a reminder of what that truly is. Thank you.
Okay.
Going back to Oprah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Going back to Oprah, there's different things that she has been controversial over. Of course, politics is one, and it says Oprah and Iraq. Although Oprah's endorsement of Barack Obama's presidential campaign drew widespread media attention, the Queen of Talk had dipped her toe into political waters before, and in several episodes, beginning back in November of 2002, she was airing through the spring of 2003, Oprah explored the negative implications of potential U.S. action against Saddam Hussein's Iraq at a time when the drumbeat for war was growing louder. Now, I don't really, since she says she's not using it for a political means, and then she does, we kind of know that she's a hypocrite. Winfrey tried to play off the news, scheduling a 2-day special, The World Speaks Out on Iraq, for the day the Secretary of State Colin Powell's crucial speech before the UN in February of 2003. Though the episodes drew praise from anti-war advocates, some government officials grumbled that Winfrey was an unwelcome gadfly. There was a speculation that the Bush administration intentionally scheduled a press conference with the president and Powell during Winfrey's broadcast so they could preempt her anti-war messages. And I don't doubt that they did that on purpose. This goes on and on. She had a little controversy with some other people, and if you remember, she always had a feud with David Letterman. That was an ongoing thing. Oprah had a crash moment, a million little lies that she's told them, rumors and things. Scandal in South Africa, if you remember what happened there. That was interesting. It said when Oprah Winfrey's Leadership Academy for the Girls, do you remember this? Opened in Johannesburg in 2007. Nelson Mandela, Tina Turner, Sidney Poitier, Spike Lee, and Oprah herself attended a lavish ribbon cutting ceremony celebrating the landmark boarding school founded with $40 million of Oprah's money. But less than a year later, 6 of the 152 students who had been personally selected by Oprah to attend the institution came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tiny Macabo of sexual and physical abuse. It has shaken me to the core, Winfrey said. Now, you know these things. You know that she knew these things were going on. She knew these people. She spent $40 million. Do you spend $40 million and just walk away and think everything's hunky-dory? Oprah is not one of us. And she is not presidential material as far as I'm concerned. She is a Hollywood brat at this point in time. She's wealthy. She's rich. She's she's good with the words. She can get up and give a good speech. But how good is she at taking care of others? We don't want her to take care of us necessarily, but when you're president of the United States, are you going to be able to handle keeping America safe? Are you going to be able to handle making America great again? I mean, Joe was right. Make America poor again. That's what the left has been doing. America has been going downhill. Rapidly. It seemed slow at first, but rapidly. And I know that there's talk, and Melody gets off on this. It's just, speculation, or it's just, running on emotions. Everybody's feeling good about tomorrow, so the stock market's way up. And they say jobs are coming back. Construction is still, it has picked up some, but it's still mostly not new work. It's mostly repair, remodels, not necessarily new work in commercial world, anyway. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. 717-300-1218 is the number to call. 717-300-1218. Well, North Korea. This is coming from Newsmax, and it's Todd Beeman that has written this article. Again, I apologize for sounding the way I do. I've got a cold and having a little trouble fighting it, but I am fighting it. I'm getting better. North Korea's nuclear arsenal and other weapons are only aimed at the United States. Don't worry. South Korea, Japan, don't worry, any of you. We're only aiming at the United States. Regarding their nuclear issues, our strategic weapons, atomic bomb, hydrogen bombs, and intercontinental missiles are only aimed at the United States, not our brethren, China or Russia. This is coming from R. Sang-gwan, and he's the head of North Korea's delegation at the first talks with Seoul in more than 2 years. They haven't talked in more than 2 years, and now they are. That in and of itself, I think, is telling of something going on. We have David in Iowa. I'm going to go to David real quick. David, how are you?
Oh, pretty good, Beth.
What's on your mind, sir?
Shortly after they come out with the Oprah stuff on the TV, I think it was Alex, they had a short special on that. Oh, boy, did he put some stuff out. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff. One of them was, she was a pimp for Harvey Weinstein. She'd get girls for him, and they'd have sex parties together.
Of course she did.
That's a small one. I don't know whether he had a thing. I haven't been to the computer. I don't have a computer at home. I go to the library. He probably has something on his website about the really bad stuff that she's involved with. She couldn't get elected dog catcher.
Well, I think she could. She could buy it. Of course, Hillary tried to buy it. She didn't get it. Well, I don't know that she personally brought him the women, but I know that she knew. She was good friends with Weinstein. She was good friends with Michael Jackson. She was good friends with all of these people that have been accused and involved. And when they had their big black dress ceremony this weekend, there wasn't one of them that mentioned any of those who were abused.
Yeah.
They're pointing to themselves. Look at us. We care. We care. We're wearing black. We care. Well, I was waiting for them to pull out their pink hats.
Yeah, the one that gets me is Michael Jackson. He was a pervert. He was sleeping with little boys. But come on, why do they revere him so much?
And they're still ignoring that. They're still ignoring that.
Boggles my mind. Well, anyway, maybe take a look at something on Alex's website. He might have some pretty big stories on there. Like I haven't checked it yet.
All right. When Alex checks my website, I'll check his, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's, I can't go so far as to say that she actually put these people together. But Hollywood knows what's been going on, and they've known and been involved in it or ignored it for a long time. And all of a sudden, now that it's in the open, they care. Sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I haven't seen any of them care enough to sacrifice anything. Have you? How big a sacrifice was it for them to all wear beautiful black dresses? Beautiful dresses. Different styles, different fabric, still showing cleavage, still showing a lot of leg. Big sacrifice. Yeah. I don't see it. Well, I think we should all take note that Kim Jong-un only hates the United States. He doesn't hate Japan. He doesn't hate South Korea. Of course, right now he wants to be a part of the Olympics. He wants to run with the big boys, the big dogs. And so he's claiming, well, it's, you know, the rest of you don't need to be upset about this. I'm only pointing my weapons at the United States. Well, the White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee said that Pyongyang's participation in the Olympics provided an opportunity for the regime to see the value of ending international isolation by denuclearizing. I don't know if he'll do that or not, but they haven't spoken in 2 years, and they are speaking now, and I'm sure the Olympics has something to do with that. And like Melody said yesterday, isn't that what the Olympics were supposed to do, was bring countries together in participation other than shooting at one another? Wasn't that what it was supposed to do? And of course now the world is in such an uproar, we have to worry about someone attacking someone, or a bomb, or suicide bomber, or something else happening at these Olympics. 717-300-1218 is the number to call if you want to join in the conversation. Let's stay on topic if we can. What do you think about Oprah? Do you think Oprah should win? Do you think she'd make a good president? I mean, she's rich. She's good looking enough. She's rich. She dresses nice. She talks purty. Should she be president of the United States? Would you want her in control? Well, we keep getting deeper and deeper into the deep state. And, you know, Joe mentioned the secret societies that exist out there. And I have no doubt that they do. I don't think all of them are too secret. What about patriots? What about you? You know, the problem with us is we're not very organized. And we're all poor. We seek solutions. We know the problems. But we can't count on an elected official fixing anything. Just forget that. If you have that on your mind, just forget it. President Donald Trump has brought a lot of turmoil and chaos to light. Because whether they're a secret society or not, those in charge are not going to let go of their power. Now, yesterday he had a big meeting. They were talking about immigration reform. They were talking about DACA. Talk. And many fear that our president is going to cave to the elite, to the Democrats. What do you think? Will he cave? 717-300-1218 is the number to call. 717-300-1218. Also, as I was saying, the deep state, I said it was getting deeper, but maybe it's getting shallow because we're seeing more and more of what they've been doing. More and more is being exposed, because everything was so transparent under President Barack Obama. It was very transparent, but now I chuckle about that. But how transparent were things under any of the other administrations, truly? President Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, has filed a pair of lawsuits over an explosive dossier and with unverified allegations against the president revealed nearly a year ago. Cohen tweeted out news of legal action against BuzzFeed News, which published the full document. Enough is enough, they said. Fake news, fake Russian dossier. Just filed a defamation action. Enough is enough. The legal action names 3 of BuzzFeed News editors and reporter Bloomberg. Jennifer Jacobs first reported. ABC News reported that Cohen also filed a defamation suit in federal court against the private investigative firm Fusion GPS. Well, isn't it wonderful? We've got all these lawsuits going on. I wonder who's paying for all these lawsuits. According to the federal complaint, Fusion GPS, co-founded by former Wall Street Journal reporter Glenn Simpson, recklessly replaced the dossier beyond the control and allowed it to fall into the hands of media devoted to breaking news on the hottest subject, the Trump candidacy. AD News reported. Now, they also reported last night, and this goes on, this article, but they also reported last night that there was someone that lost their life through some of the leaks that were going on. 717-300-1218 is the number to call. That's 717-300-1218. Will our president cave to the DACA demands? And is Oprah going to run for president? 717-300-1218. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, and right now it's Beth Ann. We'll be right back.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host, Melody Cedarstrom, right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit DiscountGoldandSilverTrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe. so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. We're minus Melanie today. She had Melody today. She had an appointment and a meeting, actually. She's on a board, and she had a meeting that she had to go to. And so you're stuck with me. You're stuck with me. So the topic today, we've talked about North Korea. No, everybody else needs to just calm down. Don't worry. We're only pointing our weapons at the United States. It's no big deal. We want to be a part of the Olympics. We want to be a part of a global society, just not the United States. So everybody needs to calm down. And but then on the other hand, they haven't spoken in 2 years to South Korea. They have refused to speak to them, and now they're speaking to them. Whether it's because of the Olympics or whatever, they're speaking. I believe some of the sanctions are working. We'll just see. I know that they're not all working because we know Russia and China are cheating. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or what they said they would do. Big surprise. And Oprah. And I really thought you'd get a kick out of the Oprah stuff. I don't have a lot of... I'm one of those people that I've never had anybody that I've held in such high esteem that I put them on a pedestal. Because I was taught at a very young age, no one belongs on a pedestal. Everyone will fall. Now, I've had good friends let me down, and I'm certain I've let people down in the past, too. And that's just our nature. But I don't, and I have music groups that I love and all that, but I've never been a groupie where I scream and holler and go after whatever, whoever. Zac Brown Band is one of my favorites right now. But I would like to go to one of their concerts. I can't afford it. I don't make enough money to go to one of their concerts. But I'm not a groupie where I have to follow them and know everything about their lives. And I never have been with any of the Hollywood stars. So that is something that I just don't do. And they get rich, they get famous. But you know what? They're no better than you and I. They're no better. I started to mention this yesterday, and we ran out of time. But Alan Dershowitz, now he's a liberal. He's not really somebody that I agree with politically, but he's been saying some things that I think are pretty smart. I think he's probably smarter than I am in many, many ways. But they can't seem to beat Trump at this game of politics, and they can't seem to break him with all their insults. The mainstream media has gone absolutely nuts, and now they want to speculate that he has mental health issues. So, of course, yesterday, if you watched him sitting in, leading the talks with the Democrats and the Republicans on DACA and immigration and the wall, you could see he was definitely in control. We're a little bit worried he might cave, but we could see that he was definitely in control. Cave, I mean compromise, more than we would like him to compromise. No deal, no deal. But Dershowitz talks about how dangerous it is for these who hate the president so much to be pointing fingers at him and saying he's mentally ill when they have no proof of it. The speculation, he says, and this is also coming from Newsmax, it's written by Sandy Fitzgerald. The speculation about President Donald Trump's mental status is very dangerous, and the 25th Amendment was not made to invoke when parties don't agree about a president's emotional makeup. And this is coming from Alan Dershowitz. I have rallied against the criminalization of political differences for a long time. The psychiatricization of political differences is much more dangerous. It's what they did in Russia. It's what they did in China. It's what they did in the apartheid of South Africa. If you don't like a candidate, lock him up. First, lock him up. And if you can't lock him up, commit him to a mental hospital. Imagine how dangerous that would be. And you know psychiatrists are notoriously bad at predicting violence. Remember what they're looking for at the things they knew about since he was elected president. I didn't like what I saw necessarily, so I did what you do in a democracy. I voted for the candidate I preferred, and he did. He voted for Hillary Clinton. He said, I knew about her. I knew about him. I had a balance of judgment. You don't lock them up. You don't put them in mental hospitals. You don't agree with them so dangerously to democracy. You just vote against them. You just vote against them. Now, I think the things that they have been pulling against Donald Trump have been ridiculous. And it is scary that they aren't stopping. They are not stopping their complaints. They're not stopping their hysteria. And they're not focusing on America at all. Not at all. They're focusing on their hate for the president. And it bothers me. That's why I told you Monday that I really liked the roundtable session of the wise guys, which Dershowitz was one of them. Not because I agreed with all of them politically, but because they were sitting there talking like civil human beings trying to figure things out. They would agree on certain problems, but they didn't necessarily agree on the solution. I think they all agreed the government isn't the solution. You can't legislate morality. And you can't just go after a man personally because you hate his politics. But that's what they've done to the President of the United States. And in the last few administrations, Barack Obama included, George W. Bush included, and even I think it started with Bill Clinton. The respect of the position is gone. Clinton demeaned it with his behavior in the Oval Office. He demeaned it. The respect for the office, regardless of who is in the office, should remain. But it doesn't. They call the president today every name in the book. They accuse him of everything. It's like they don't understand English. They need to read that little thing about up. They don't understand English. He didn't say half of what they're saying he said. Or he didn't mean it the way they took it. And it's not because he's that bad at giving speeches. The deplorables understood. But Hollywood can't understand, and the mainstream media and those who hate him didn't understand. Dershowitz apparently did. He just disagreed with him. Why on earth he voted for Hillary Clinton, I'll never know. But he is the President of the United States, as was Barack Obama, as was George W. Bush. I read the other day, and I don't know if it's true or not. It had several presidents mentioned. It was George W. Bush, President Trump, President Clinton, President Barack Obama, and it seems like there was a fifth one, but maybe not. Maybe it was just those four. And it asked, which ones had the highest IQ? Which one of those men had the highest IQ? And I'm assuming this was a true thing, but if it wasn't, forgive me. It said George W. Bush had the highest IQ. Now, remember what the press did to him? They made him look stupid every time they turned around, every time he turned around, because of the way he presented himself, the way his speeches went. I mean, he might misspeak here or there. And so they made him out to be a dummy that couldn't even read. And people accepted that. But he had the highest IQ. Now, you can believe that or you can not believe that. I don't have any doubt that it might be true. And it's kind of comical and sad at the same time that that's who the media went after and called him stupid and a dummy and claimed he couldn't read. And of course, it wasn't true. You couldn't have done the things he did in his past and be a complete dummy. I hear the music. The music is playing free. Are you free today? You've been listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, minus Melody. She will be back with us tomorrow, and we'll go at it one more time. You have a wonderful day.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.